Hi, I'm Cher Johnston. This is my happy place. There's my little Mitzi sitting by the window, drinking her water. We're listening to birds today. It's kind of nice. There's a nice breeze outside. Oh, this is just one of those wonderful fall days. All right, I'm almost ready. So I'm gonna finish getting ready and put you up. Okay, today's video, we're gonna do a little slow stitch piece. And I decided I'm gonna, if you ever watch Joie, she does junk journals, paper crafting, things like that. And she does these really cool little step by step, and she makes it all fancy and all that. Well, I liked the idea because I watch her channel and I love the step by step process that she does. I made a little journal cover kind of piece following one of her tutorials, and I just loved it. So the first thing you're going to do is gather your items. What I have here is my background. You can use fabric, you can use an old quilt piece, you can use a piece of batting, I have felt here. I normally use, I buy those cheap kitchen towels, at Target or whatever. And they're very thin. I love to sew through them. Today I decided I'm going to see how I like sewing through the felt. I think it'll be fun. And then I have a bunch of, I save all my scraps. I have large scraps, medium scraps, and little tiny scraps. These are medium, small scraps. Now, I just went through and I ironed all of them, and most of them have starch because I starch things. It's a thing from my childhood. I learned to iron when I was a little girl. I have fond memories of ironing with my mother. She taught me to iron my dad's handkerchiefs, and I ironed his shirts. And then when I got married, my second husband wore shirts a lot. I ironed his shirts. Then I have pieces of lace. I have a small box of small pieces of lace, and I have those. I have needles and threads, which I've threaded. I have 2 needles that I threaded here. So first, and I want to talk about this one. This is a Sashiko needle. This is this is a number 1 milliner's needle. They're very similar in size. I could use this needle to do some knots, but I'd have to make them kind of loose. This is Sashiko thread. It's from Japan. I think that's Japanese. It's a very, very soft. It's so soft that the ends will start to shred as you're stitching. But I love the way that it feels in the fabric when you're done. I also have a Sashiko palm thimble that I use. You hold the needle like this and push the end against the thimble, and you sort of you fold the fabric onto the needle and push it through like that. I love this idea. I love this technique. I didn't realize I put a knot in there already. So I made myself the needle and I use it a lot. So, and I wanted to share that with you. I'm going to take this off for now. This one, put this away. This, I have a number 5 Bowen Basting Pleating Milliners. This is currently my favorite needle. My favorite needle changes now and then. And then I have, this is my current favorite thread. This is Aurifil, Aurifil number 12. It's like if you have a pearl cotton that's a number 8 pearl cotton. This is a little bit smaller than that. And this is the number of the color. I found a place online where I get this, and I'm really happy with it. You could also just use embroidery thread. Just use what you have. Don't go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Then I have my base fabric, my fabrics that I'm going to use, and then I have some focal points. These are twinchies. That's just a piece of lace. This is one of the twinchies that I made earlier this year. I did a bunch of, I did a whole series of little, now you don't have to have little twinchies for a focal point. You could have a piece of lace or a button or a charm or something else. And you don't even have to have a focal point. We'll just see as we start putting our fabrics down. We'll just see how it goes. Now, I'm going to overlap the edges a little bit as I lay these fabrics down. I picked these out because these are some of my favorite fabrics. This is one of my Tula Pink. Now you can fray the edges like this. When the pieces start to get really small like this, it's not always easy to just tear it. So I have my pinking shears I'm going to use to cut those. So I think I need a new light. I use a light even though I'm near the window, and I don't even know if I really need a light. But anyway, I think I need a new one. This, you don't need to be particular about what specific piece you're getting, but I just feel like it right now. Oh, I like this. And these, I know that they're going to go together because they're all my Tula Pink fabrics that I picked out that I'm putting in my quilt. And I'm going to save even these little tiny pieces. I know that's silly. That might sound silly, but that goes in my orts jar. I might use them later for a thing, for art of some kind. All right. I like to use squares of fabric. They don't have to be squares, it's just easier to sort of piece them together. And they don't have to be overlapping, but I'm going to overlap them. Oh, let's get part of this. This is my grandson's. He loves orange and yellow. Those are his favorite colors. So let's get a bit of that in here. All right. I don't want to cover that up. All right, I have more than enough now. Okay, so I've selected the pieces for my background. Now you can, this step, you can do now, or you can add the lace later. It depends on, like this kind of, if I'm going to use this, I'm going to attach that later. If I'm going to use this, I might attach it now and do my cantha stitching with it. I might do, let's do this piece here, just because. I'm loving the breeze today. Oh my gosh, really loving it. Okay, the next step that I'm going to do is baste. Now, I would normally get a needle and thread because that's what I do. I'm a sewer. But for the sake of speed and for the video, I'm going to just use a little of this. This is washable school glue. And I know that my needle will go through it because I've done this before. Just put a little dab on the bottom of these pieces just to sort of hold it in place while I stitch. And this might be a big mistake, but we'll find out together. I have done this before. And I normally, did I get these all down? I did, didn't I? And if it doesn't work out, then I can always wash it out. I can always just start all over. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is stitch. Now with this needle, this sort of thread, and of course my Sashiko thimble, this is going to be pretty quick. If you don't know, excuse me, if you don't know many stitches, this is a good one to learn. This is a running stitch. It's also called borrow, also called Sashiko. It's also sometimes called cantha. Rachel from Roxy's Creations calls it cantha stitches. They're not necessarily the same thing, but they're all very similar. And I think it's just a, like, I don't think the terms are interchangeable, but it's basically the same motion. It's the same sort of stitch. Sashiko has, some other specific rules or whatever. Borrow, I think, is mending. Anyway, doesn't much matter for slow stitch because you're just going to do this back and forth, up and down. My stitches are very large here. I don't normally do really large, blah, blah, blah. I don't normally do really large stitches, but I'm showing you, and I don't want to take a long time. This is a slow stitch project that's not going to be really very slow. Because now one thing that I've learned from Sashiko, I think it was, make sure that this stitch between your lines is loose. And you want to pull the fabric, not the thread, so that it's not too bunchy. Unless you like that bunchiness. I sort of like that, but you get enough of it with just your stitches without, exaggerating the bunchiness. If you like a hoop, you can definitely sew in a hoop, and you'll get less of that less of the bunching, less of the wavy, like if you wanted to avoid the bunching, you could use a hoop. All right. There we go. Okay. I wanted to talk about, let's do one more stitch here. Let's talk about the stitch and swap. I'm so excited. Because this video is basically a how-to. If you don't know how to stitch and swap, this is a tutorial for that. Just pick out some fabrics, glue them down, baste them down, whatever. What I have here is a 4-inch square. You could do something smaller. There's not really any rules. I just wouldn't do much larger than a 4-inch square. Myself personally, I'm planning to use this in a journal. So I may later glue it down to a piece of paper or watercolor paper or something, and I might use it for a tag. I don't know yet. I haven't not decided where it's going to go, what I'm going to do with it. I often make things that are just things, like the Twinchie. I made a bunch of Twinchies so that I would have those later to use. It's like when you do junk journals and you mass make things so that you have, pockets and tabs and whatever already made up to go into your journal. This is something that I make Twinchies to use them later. I make these kind of, sometimes I just sit down and do a little embroidery, and then I come across it, like I came across one today. I'm sort of trying to clean. I keep saying that. If you watch all my videos, you'll know I've been saying I need to clean or I'm gonna clean. Well, I cleaned a little bit. I got the kitchen sort of cleaned. I changed the cat box. I cleaned the bathroom a little bit. That doesn't really do anything for my my crafting hoard. Um, I shouldn't call it a hoard. It's not really a hoard. I'm not really a hoarder. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe I am a bit of a hoarder. Trying to do better though. Trying to get uh, the piles of stuff under control. I had at one point arranged all my fabrics by color, and now they're not arranged that way anymore. And I may want to arrange them by size, maybe by size and color. Although, if you do by color, then like this piece of fabric, does it go with the pinks, or does it go with florals, or does it go, I don't know. I also have some boxes that are just arranged by project. I have a Tula Pink box, and I have a Asian inspired quilt box. Anyway, all right. Sometimes I go. Oh, I was going to tell you about the stitch and swap. Sometimes I go cross horizontally, and then I go vertically as well. And sometimes I just do one or the other. It depends on, I don't know, it depends on how I'm feeling that particular day. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I'm going to use felt again. Because, I don't know, I do kind of like this. I like the way the felt is the texture that it's giving it. Kind of nice. Okay. Now, so I'm just going to end this off by doing 2 stitches in the back. So now that I have that stitching done, we basted, we stitched. I can do more stitching, or I can add a focal point, or I can do both. I think I have this trim that I bought that I really, really like. Except you know what? When I cut this, I have to glue the end so that it doesn't fray, and I don't have my glue with me. I mean, I don't have the right glue with me. I sort of like this one. This is called auditioning. Auditioning, auditioning. Let's see. I do like this. I'm almost out of this. I do love this. I could do, I do have more of this. I could do that. Oh, this. That's just too big. I don't want to cover up any of these thingies. Um, no. No, 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 no. I don't like any of those. So, buttons. So, buttons. I think I want to use a button or a yo-yo or something like that right there. I'll come right back. Okay, so I found a yo-yo that I want to use, but then I noticed that there's these little flowers on here which inspired me. Excuse me. There must be something that I'm eating that's making me burp. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily just follow the outline of these flowers because this these are just inspired. I mean, this flower is just inspired by the flowers that are there. This is called a lazy daisy stitch or a detached chain stitch. I'm going to come up in the center of the flower, go back down next to that stitch and come out at the tip of the petal, wrap my thread around the needle, and then tack it down. Now I have completely covered that petal there. I don't care because I'm not necessarily just looking at the flower. I'm just inspired by that flower underneath there. So if you don't know embroidery, this is a good starting point, is the running stitch and then detached chain stitch or lazy daisy. These are two really simple stitches. And there we have a little 5-petal flower. Cute, huh? Now I'm just going to do 2 stitches at the back. And cut it off. Then here's my There's my needle that I threaded. No, this is not the needle that I threaded to use with this. But it doesn't matter. This is also blah, blah, blah. This is also Aurifel thread. Same size, different color. It's just a pink one. I want this, I think right about there. How do you think that's going to look? All right. Now this stitch is called an overcast stitch. And you're just going to come up at the edge and go down. I don't even have to go all the way to the back. Just going to go through layers of the fabric there, come back up just outside or just inside the edge of that. I'm going to go back down here and come back up. You can also come up back up on the outside. And if you do that, I like to do that sometimes because then I can measure easier how much of the stitch I'm going to have show. You can do this as like an invisible stitch. And I'll just show you that. If I come up on the outside edge of that yo-yo and I come back in right, just take like two threads of fabric, that will be sort of an invisible stitch. I don't want this to be invisible. I want you to be able to see it. Then up there, down here, and up there, and down here. Oh, there's such a wonderful breeze coming in. Oh, I love these. I'm grateful for fall. Which reminds me, I want to talk about the Stitch and Swap. I'm so excited to be doing this with Susan Hiles Creates. I'll put a link to her video where she talked about it. I'm going to come up in the center, and then I'm going to do, this is another, if you're new to slow stitch, this is another nice stitch to learn. I have this is not a milliner's needle. Milliner's needle is best for knots because it's the same width at the eye of the needle as it is all the way down. If I use this, when I go back in, if I stop here and I pull really tight, you might not be able to get the needle through that wrap. So I just won't pull as tight. I'm going to come up here in the center. I'm just going to do a bunch of French knots. So a French knot is like this. You pull the thread off to the side like that and wrap from the fabric out. See? If you were, then I'm going to tighten it up a bit and pull through. If you were left-handed, you would do, I'm going to try and do it left-handed now. You would pull it out this way and wrap around 1, 2, 3 times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to show you what happens if I leave it a little bit loose. I don't know if you can see that. I left it kind of loose. Then when you pull it through, you get this little loopy thing, which I sometimes really like. Let's do a couple more. loopy 2 wrap. 1, 2, let's do 3 wraps. And then I'm going to put it down right next to where I came out. Go through the back. And I'm going to tighten it up just a bit. See how it's still kind of loose there? Maybe a little too loose. It doesn't matter. I think it's kind of loopy. I like those. I think that they're very decorative. And then you can do a 1 wrap. 1, 2, 3. You can do a 1 wrap. My kitty's now at my feet, rubbing up against my legs, saying, Mom, Mom. Anyway, I think that means she wants something, and I can never tell lately. I don't know what she wants. She has food. She has water. I just, 1, 2, 3. I just cleaned her cat box. You know, she usually really loves me after I clean her cat box. There we go. That one's going to be kind of loopy. I was going to say, sometimes I do 1 wrap French knot, but that would make it really tiny. So I'm not going to do those. 2, 3. So I'm going to put a link to Susan Heil's video. We're doing the theme is fall or gratitude. And she wants us to add a button. 1, 2, 3. I forgot to count. A button or a charm. And I asked her if we're not including paper. I did not ask her if you could include glue, but I think that would be okay. I included glue in here. I mean, but I think it's more. My cat is okay. I think it's more. I don't know if you can hear her. I think it's more of a. We're doing slow stitch pieces. We're not doing junk journal pieces. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Come here, honey. Come here. She won't come to me. Okay. That's all for now. Links in the description to there she is. There she is. There she is. Okay. I think she just wants attention. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.